All right. Welcome, one and all, to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I am John. And if you could hit that like and subscribe button, we are here. We are granted the visage of the great Brian. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. I don't know how blessed you are, but we'll take it.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm heavily medicated. It actually helps. It helps with
Okay.
that. All right, let's get into the world of baseball. 6 games left in the regular season. The playoffs are forming. Last night, the San Diego Padres clinched a berth with a walk-off win. And, I'm looking at the American League, and the Red Sox are doing everything to go into a kamikaze death dive here. They are 1 game ahead of the Cleveland Guardians for a wild card spot. Houston actually has some serious problems. Question: are the Red Sox going to make it to the playoffs this year, Brian?
Uh, that's still a huge toss-up question. But the same thing can actually be said about the Detroit Tigers.
Oh God,
Look at
yeah. Well,
look at him. He's stunned that I said that. Pulled that one out
yeah.
of the.
I wasn't seeing
I
that
mean,
one coming.
they were the lock forever, right?
Yeah, right,
And now all of a sudden they're heading into Cleveland for three uh,
right.
against
And
the
they're only
hottest
one game
team.
up. They're only
They're
one
only
game
one
up.
game up. Their record is actually identical to your beloved Red Sox.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
So the
Jesus
Detroit
bless us.
Tigers could actually be one of the teams that gets knocked out of this. The crazy thing with the American League is only Toronto has clinched a berth so far.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It does look to me like the Yankees are pretty much clinched a wild card. But you're right. Nothing is etched in stone.
Yeah.
But you're right. The Red Sox, the Tigers, and the Guardians, all are right there. Obviously, Seattle has kind of wrapped up the West. They've got a 3 game lead with 6 to go. Houston really faltered. Texas really faltered. Texas is coming in losing 7 in a row. Um, geez,
And
in this,
Seattle just, the team that can't win on the road, they actually just went into Houston and
yeah,
swept that series to really solidify their lead in the West. So good for them
absolutely.
figuring it out.
Cal Cal Raleigh, 58th home run. Let me ask you, is he going to get to 60?
I would say probably. I mean, 6 games to hit 2 bombs for a guy that's already hit 58. Pretty sure he
Yeah,
can do that.
yeah. Is he the MVP in the American League?
Yes.
Wow. You're right. I mean, you called that a couple months ago, and I thought it was outlandish that anybody could bring down the great Aaron Judge, but I don't know. I think we're going to see that.
I
I
don't think
think
it's
that's
necessarily that he brought down, and I mean, Judge still has tremendous numbers,
yeah,
but with his recent injury, he slowed down some, and he had to spend some time on the IL, which definitely hurt his, season long numbers. But he's still going to win the batting title. He still has he still has 50 home runs, doesn't he?
yeah,
So I mean, his numbers are still super awesome, but they're just Cal has had a better overall season, and he's a better defensive player. Judge is an average defender.
yeah, yeah. It's. I'm looking over here at the National League, and it looks like the teams that have already wrapped it up are the Phillies, Brewers, Cubs, Dodgers, and Padres. The Mets are doing everything they can to fall out of playoff favor. They have a 51% chance. The Reds are the only other team with a chance to get there. They're at 42%. You called the Reds before the year with Francona. Who do you like out of the National League?
Well, I didn't think the Reds would be eking in on the last week of the season, though.
Hey, you get in, you get in with a strong finish or just creeping across the line. It all
Yeah,
counts the same, right?
but yeah, I like the Reds. The Mets are just having a colossal collapse from almost equivalent to Detroit's. accept the fact that Detroit was. I'd say Detroit's collapse is worse if they don't pull this off,
Right.
because
They had
for
such
a
a big
long
lead.
time, they were the best team in the American League, and nobody was questioning it.
Right.
The Mets, if they collapsed, well, they were never really a dominant uh, league leader or anything like that. They were always battling with the Phillies. Phillies pulled away, and now they're just dropping out of it. There's a couple other teams I think Arizona still has that shot too. I think Arizona's like only one game back of the Mets and the Reds.
Let's look. Let's look. I'm not as
Mm,
well versed as you. Arizona, they're listing, yeah, Arizona is one game back of the New York Mets and the Reds for the wild card. I
yeah.
don't know what the tiebreaker is, to be honest with you, in the National League. I mean, is it head-to-head record?
First, first
I would assume.
tiebreaker is head to head. The
I
first
guess we're gonna
tiebreaker is
see.
head to head. So,
I Arizona, especially as many problems as they've had with the rotation this year, it's pretty impressive. Tony Lavella really does a great job over there. I wish he was in Boston. I know you're stuck on Cora. You love Cora, but god dang, man, that he really has done an amazing job with that team. I don't know. Huh. I'm just in awe. I'm fantasizing right now in my head about him actually leading the Red Sox to a world title.
oh
I don't
wow.
think Arizona's going to fire him though.
I don't think they would.
No, no, I don't think so either. All right. Also, we had another milestone in Clayton Kershaw's. Yeah, or I guess last night, Clayton Kershaw pitched his last game in Dodger Stadium in the regular season this week, and went off to a loud and thunderous ovation, which obviously he deserves. But also last night in the home finale, the Dodgers passed 4 million fans this year, which is the first time that's happened in 10 years. And, or since, excuse me, since the Yankees did it 3 years in a row when they were leaving the old Yankee Stadium. Uh, I guess really the question is, are the Dodgers the most viable team? I mean, the most popular team in baseball? I guess so, huh?
Uh, they've got all things clicking as far as drawing an audience. I mean,
I
we
have
know
to say,
you and I
yeah,
went
but
to a game last year at Dodger Stadium. This was well before our podcasting days, but we went to
yes,
see the Red Sox play in Dodger Stadium. And, the thing that we noticed was it was Shohei's first year there and Yamamoto. And it's almost like they had transitioned their, uh, what's what they're
I'm
trying
not
to attract.
sure.
It's like they were going after the Asian market almost. And a lot of the food and stuff like that, even in the stadium, has been changed. And let's face it, uh, this is probably something better for your political podcast. I don't know.
Okay,
I've never watched it, but
okay, good. Be thankful. Be
but
thankful.
but it seems like they're trying to capture that Asian market, and you got a lot of that in Southern California and LA, and it's they're drawing the fans.
There has been, in my humble opinion, no team in sports that has embraced ethnicity so well and so seamlessly as the Dodgers. They brought in Jackie Robinson. Obviously, that was a groundbreaking situation. But if you remember back, they brought in Fernando Valenzuela and bring in the Hispanic community. Even after that, they brought in Hideo Nomo, right? And he had
Yeah,
come
no
from,
Bart.
yeah, excellent. And now we are seeing the same thing with the Asian community with not just Shohei, but Yamamoto. And to your point, Brian, you're absolutely correct. They didn't they've done such a great job not just bringing them in but also embracing that fan base. Like you to your point, they had a lot of Asian dishes in the concession stands. The jerseys, I mean, I would say that day, Shohei and Yamamoto, were the biggest jerseys we saw in that stadium. I mean, Shohei probably had 80% of them. I mean, but even in there, you would see a Jackie Robinson or even a Nomo. And kudos to the Dodgers for embracing it because most organizations aren't that adept at it. And it's just hats off to
They're
the
not.
Dodgers,
Yeah, they got
right?
the they got the they have a true business plan,
They do.
and their business plan actually, uh, different than some teams, is also rooted in winning baseball games. Where that's where some of the teams, they're in it to make money, and if they win baseball games, great. That's a great side project. But
They're called the Colorado Rockies, Brian. Continue. Yes. All right.
the Dodgers have done it around, also focusing on winning baseball games, but then marketing the team and selling the team and attracting fans to the stadium, uh, in a highly successful manner.
Yeah. It is truly sports marketing and community building on such an epic level. I'm gonna get to a question that you brought up. We were texting, and even in texting, I learned a lot from Brian. He was talking about the Red Sox. We don't know as we're this is a Red Sox centric podcast. Bregman potentially could be a free agent this year. He was talking about bringing in Pete Alonso and his big bat in this offseason. I guess the deeper question for me is next year is the end of the collective bargaining agreement. Do you think there's going to be a strike? I know I'm getting way ahead of my skis here, but do you think that's going to impact in terms of accelerating and intensifying free agency for the last year, quote unquote, without a salary cap this coming off season?
Well, I don't think guys will be trying to get money. They always
They
are.
always are. They always are.
They always are. Anyone that can opt out is going to opt out. I mean, we heard the thing from Scott Boras the other day, right? A couple weeks
Yes.
back. I had a nice little rant on that. That was fun.
Yes. That
Uh,
was that was good.
uh, and then I saw a comment the other day. So, sticking with the Red Sox, Giolito gets lit up in his last outing. He didn't really necessarily get lit up, but he had a lot of walks, did not pitch well. He has one of
Yes.
those about every fifth outing.
Okay.
And I don't know what his contract status is. I'm guessing he must have an opt out. But
He does.
after his post game comments were, I really feel like I just let the team down, and they may need to get somebody more reliable in the future. What does that do? Like, I'm going to opt out for the benefit of the Red Sox so I can get a contract somewhere else. You know what I mean? They're just,
You know what that's
just
like, Brian? That's like dating the super hot girl and she looks at you and she says, I think I'm holding you back.
thank God the princess never said that.
Thank God. Well, you got that Shangri-La, street cred, back in the day. All
But I
right.
mean, I would just respect guys so much more if they said, "Yeah, I'm opting out at the end of the year. I want a bigger contract." Just
But
say it.
you know what? There's just too much backlash, especially in Red Sox land, right? We put up with the year of Tommy John surgery, right? It's a
Yeah,
big thing. But look, nobody forced the Red Sox. And believe me, the Red Sox are not giving away money. They are very, very frugal, even though they are a big market team. You could ask that to Rafael Devers. I'm sure we couldn't use a bat like that for the next month.
ask Mookie
Nothing to see
Betts,
here. Yeah.
Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just keep going. Hey, I'll even say JD Martinez. We could have used him for a couple more years after he decided to head down the road. All right. Any final thoughts on the last basic week of baseball, regular season?
Uh, it's the Yankees have the easiest schedule here heading into this
Yeah.
last week. Uh, they should definitely solidify, like you said. They're they have they haven't clinched the berth yet, but they should definitely lock up that wild card spot. I don't think they're a
Eh,
lock to end up in that number one seed though. So that's kind of interesting because even though they have a two-game lead, I could just see the Orioles coming up and biting them in the ass in that last weekend series. You
oh,
know what I mean?
sure, sure.
And then, like we've talked about way too much. The Red Sox are just, I mean, it's always based on their next series, and their next two series, they're in Toronto, and then they're coming home for what's I expect to be a very desperate Detroit.
Yeah, yeah, they're not, and
That's not going to be easy.
Saturday we're facing Mize. We probably are facing Skubal. Yeah, it's going to get a little dicey
And then,
there.
and just that last wild card spot should be in the National League should be a pretty interesting week. The Mets have been kind of sliding. The Reds are coming on strong. The Diamondbacks are coming on strong.
Mets are
So
playing Miami. Mets are playing Miami. Cincinnati is at Milwaukee, but Milwaukee has wrapped everything up. So maybe they take it a little easy. We'll have to see how that plays out,
they
right?
didn't take it easy last night in San Diego. They had to go to extras to beat them.
Yeah, well, no.
But
I mean,
that last
baseball,
series, they might be setting up that rotation for but they got the off time too, so they don't have to worry about
right,
too much
right.
jockeying. They can go out there and play games. And that's
Oh,
what
they will.
Milwaukee has done all year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me, what team has impressed you the most this year? Maybe exceeded expectations for you?
Well, Milwaukee didn't think they'd be the best team in baseball.
Right.
Toronto, I did not expect to be winning the division. They're actually leading the whole American League, you
Yeah.
know. I didn't even think they were going to be a playoff contender. So
Yeah.
those two right off the top. Seattle. I always
Yeah.
think Seattle just comes across to me every year as this team that people in the media
Chokes.
will talk about, and they never live up to the hype.
They are. They
And
they absolutely.
and they have done it this year, which I think, you know, comes down to leadership. And who's the leader of that team?
Cal Raleigh.
Probably the guy that should be the MVP.
Yeah. And I believe you mentioned this at the beginning of the year. They do have, going into the playoffs, they have the best rotation. They have the best four. Now, I don't know what that means. Personally, I'd rather have a solid two than a great four, but Brian Wu, everybody there has just been lights out all year. And Logan Gilbert, who is exceptional, has had kind of a down year for him, but he's still a lights out type of guy. I don't know who they're going to put to the bullpen, but that is a team. I have said all year that I thought Detroit was the biggest threat to go there only because of their number one and number two starters. Seattle's right there. I mean, their pitching staff from top to bottom is just amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing everybody always says, if you got two really high-end pitchers for the postseason, you're going to do well.
Right.
I
Yep.
If you can go four deep like Seattle can, I mean, that's better than two. Because a lot of times with the two guys, with having just the two guys, you're sending them out there on short rest.
Right.
If you got
Right.
four quality guys, if your 3 and 4 aren't that much of a drop off, then you can go with the normal rotation and rest. Save your bullpen a little bit, because that's the biggest thing is how quick is the hook going to be
Right.
for the starters, because the bullpens are gassed. Everybody's bullpen is gassed by now. Because in
Sure.
this era, when 5 innings is your starter, by the time you get to September, everybody's bullpen is gassed.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you
I
you got to have a bullpen master, you know, as your manager, which is why the Red Sox are so great.
so good.
this time of year. I mean, nobody can bring in the gas can and the lighter fluid like Alex Cora.
We call it napalm. Yes.
Okay.
Just bring a match. Just bring a match. I will say this exactly to your point. I think the biggest difference between two starters and four starters, like we're seeing, is it puts a lot more decisions on the team that has four starters because the manager with the two starters said, "Hey, I just had to let it go," and everybody gives him a pass. It's the Red Sox, and I'm not saying we have four starters anywhere close to what Seattle has, but you come into making decisions, and that's where everything does the Hiroshima and blows up on Alex Cora, right?
Yes.
Your favorite?
He does it a lot himself.
Well,
I'm telling you, that dude should be banned from making mid inning pitching decisions. Just let the guy finish out the inning. Just let it happen.
yeah. Just let nature take its course. A river will find its own way. Don't worry about it. Don't you fret about it, you know? God dang. I don't know what bad sign we were born on to become Red Sox fan, but man, it is going to be a curse all the way to our graves. Lordy, lordy. All right, you got any final thoughts as we get ready to get out of this?
Yeah, I need a
You're good. He's
refill
got his
myself.
coffee. He's ready to go. If you
Oh,
could,
coffee's
anybody out
gone.
there, oh man, you better
Need
reload,
a
kid.
refill.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And if you're gonna watch the Red Sox as you're drinking that coffee, make sure you put some whiskey or alcohol in there. It's the only way to be able to semi watch what they do. All right, everybody, hit that like and subscribe button, leave some comments, and we'll see you soon on Off the Rails Sports Podcast. Oh, look at that. Look how nice that is.